All right, hello. Fourth, fifth time is the charm. The camera wasn't working and the microphone wasn't working. And I'm resiliently showing up here because we've got the 1010 portal tomorrow. And we've also got so many things. We've got the eclipse, we've got an exciting blood moon, we've got a lot of things. And here's the thing with that. We get help, like, we get offered support before a big energetic shift, before, um, things come crumbling down. It's like it doesn't happen with no support, and then we go into, "Oh, well, why is this happening to me?" Or, this is one of the things that I addressed on my Instagram, today, and it was that there's this idea I've gotta work hard to play hard, which is just so stupid. It's so stupid because it's like, no, it's the opposite of that. It's you get to love yourself. You get to tune into that centeredness. You get to feel good. And from that good, you get to give from the overflow. You get to it's not even gonna be called work, it's just gonna be called play. It's gonna be called inspired action. You're eager to do it, you're excited. Think of a point in your life when you just felt so excited, something was going on, and you're just like, "Oh my god, yes." And um, the things that work, they were easy, they were joyful, and you get to take one heart-inspired, excited, eager, fun step at a time, and then when you get to this, I don't wanna say the end because there is no end, it's just when you get to the point that you wanted to get to, and you look back, and it's like, "Whoa, how did I get there? How did I do all these difficult things?" They weren't difficult, they were so freaking exciting. I actually had this at some point with my move when I was moving into this apartment, and for the longest time, from my old house, I said, "I'm never moving." The amount of things that just work and the amount of effort, like, I'm just never gonna move. And also with 2 kids, it's like, I'm just not gonna do that. And then I moved here, and I was just so excited, and I had to just, actually, the circumstances were like hell when I was moving, and I wasn't able to get the help that I needed. But right away, I moved in here first my, shamanic tools, and I moved the shelf for my books on there, and so, actually, the first thing, and I didn't have the car back then, it was a whole thing, but, I created the first sacred space, and that was just so energizing to me. That created this energy that, like, "Ooh, now I can do anything. Now I wanna create the rest of this home." And so by the end of, as many weeks as it took, 2 weeks, and the whole house was ready and all the pictures were hung and everything because I needed to create that space. Um, and it seemed like, whoa, how is this already done? And everybody that would come into my home be like, how is this already so, like, as if it's from a magazine? I'm like, it honestly didn't take work. I was just inspired. Like, I was okay functioning on, like, less, what is considered less than normal sleep, but it's like I didn't need it because I was in this meditative state because I was just feeling replenished with every action I took. And this is available. This is available to us. So this, like, just BS of I've got to work hard to play hard. Like, I've got to earn my right to feel good. What? No, no. And so similarly with this, bringing this to the topic, why am I talking about this? Because um, a lot of shifts. October is going to be really exciting. Okay, we have the next 2 weeks. They're going to be very, very exciting. Things coming to light, falling away of things, or rather, things. Ooh, this was coming up. I love it. Um, you're working with this facet, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I've worked on this." But then there's just like the moon is just kind of like shifting, and it's now it's like that, and you're like, wait, but I already dealt with it. It's like, no, no, you dealt with this side, but you haven't dealt with this side yet. And so just the shift so we can come into this health, this wholeness from all aspects. And this so beautifully ties in with tomorrow. Tomorrow is a 1010 portal, and it is about wholeness. It is about, are you actually accepting all of you? And what happens with this is so often It's like there are some things that we don't love, and there are some things that we do love. And we go into, okay, I'm gonna work with this. And I mean, most people are just like, no, I'm just gonna show this part of me that's presentable. And inside this is I'm totally not feeling aligned with this persona, but that's okay. That's what a lot of people do. Now, if you're watching this content, if you're here on this channel, I'm sure that you've gone beyond that and it's like, okay, I'm ready to go into my shadow work. I'm ready to do this work and bring everything to service. I'm ready to love all of myself. And so we think that, okay, well, I'm done, right? Or like, I've done so much work on this side, I'm ready. Not understanding, it's like, well, what about this one? And also understanding that it doesn't, like, it gets easier, right? It doesn't take the same amount of work. It's just like when you're starting to learn a new language, saying that first sentence or just like speaking like a dialogue, it's difficult. It takes a long time. You have to translate every word. Or anything new, a new job, you got to get that training. It's just like you've never done it before. And then it just becomes automatic. And it's the same with shadow work. But what a lot of people are afraid of is we feel like, okay, this took so long to deal with this side. Like it took so long. And I can't, I don't have what it takes to deal with this one. It's a lot of work. But it isn't though. It isn't because it's easier, and it's a lot easier when we learn to surrender as well. So, just like what I began to talk about, the fact that when we have these shifts, October is going to be really exciting. And when we have these shifts, we are also given the support. So, for example, these energetic portals, these um, spaces of replenishment, of receiving, they're available to us before the hard time. So it's not like, oh my God, okay, I'm at my last breath here. I've got nothing left. I'm just gonna make it through October. And then I can rest. It's like, no, you get to feel good. You get to feel replenished. You get to feel abundant. And from that, you're like, I'm ready. Let's do this. And then you get to embrace all these shifts, all these changes in your life, not from, oh my God, how much longer? But, ooh, let's do this. I'm excited. Who's the next level of me? Like, I'm excited to meet that person, not why is everything shifting and what can I hold on to, right? And it's a really different energy. It's a really different place to come into this inner work from. And so, what do we do tomorrow? What do we do? The practicals of it, right? The practical aspects. So, beginning by grounding, and it's really just coming into wholeness, coming into all aspects of you. Are you at peace with this human experience? I hear people say things like, I don't want to reincarnate again. A powerful teacher, Leonard Jacobson, um, I think it was in one of his books, was it, or one of his talks? I don't remember, but um, there are so many students sitting in front of him, and he goes, so which of you is trying really hard to, do the work so you don't have to reincarnate again? And so many hands went up, and he's like, yeah, you're all coming back. Unless you love the experience, like you're not making the most of it. You didn't get it. And so I hear a lot of this talk like, oh yeah, this is the last human experience I'm reincarnating. It's like, but why? Why would you want that? There's so much bliss available to you here. One of the things I get from my guidance over and over again is when I'm connected to a song, or even when it's like, well, actually, it depends on the moment. Sometimes, I'm listening to music and it's like, you need silence now. And sometimes, like, it's silent and it's like, turn on music, especially when I'm doing something. It's like, turn on the music because we can't hear it. Because in the non physical, you can't taste, you can't touch, you can't hear. And there's only frequency. And what we have here is the translation of that frequency. And it's so delicious, unique. We get to experience it. We get to love it. Why would you want to not have that? Like, we came here excited to experience this. It's a beautiful experience if we allow it to, if we don't get caught up in the mind, if we get to play with the mind. So the 1010 really offers this invitation into wholeness. How are you doing that with that? How are you doing with that wholeness? Are you loving all aspects of this experience, of this? Are you loving your mind? Are you loving the ego that is just so fearful and resistant and is afraid of change? The part that goes into, oh my God, I got to struggle through this, or it's a noble thing to do, to self-sacrifice and to put others first, and all these stories that it takes you into, and you're like, okay, I get to come out of that. Do you love that part? Do you love the part that is your essence? That is that groundedness, centeredness, or is that also too much? And is it like, okay, I can't live in that state all the time? Because a lot of us have resistance to it, hence the mind, hence why we go towards that sometimes. Like, well, if I'm just at peace, I can't function in the world, and you're not meant to, right? You're meant to be all of these different aspects, the combination of all of these different, you're a multidimensional being. All these different dimensions have their own gifts. So, how are you doing with allowing this wholeness, with experiencing this wholeness? And this is the invitation. And so, the question to sit with, especially tomorrow, and I strongly encourage you to well, just because of my practice, there are really so many ways. You might hear me say this and it might actually, this doesn't resonate. This is what I want to do instead. Just as long as you have a practice of your own, I will suggest one that's coming up for me just because I work more from the kind of natural way, the shamanic tradition, the four elements. I would suggest to sit with one of the elements. Which one speaks to you the most? Is it the earth? Is it the water? Is it the fire? Is it the air? So, maybe sitting on the earth or sitting with a plant, if you can't go outside, for example, or there's no really greenery available to you. Um, Water. Can you go to a lake, a stream, maybe just even sit with, a bowl of water, just focusing on the power of the element, fire, a candle, or sitting in the sun, air, incense, or maybe like even looking at a feather. So many different ways, focusing on your breath as well, sitting with one of the elements and asking for guidance, asking for support, because each one is so whole and powerful on their own. And then they combine. And I'm just showing like this because I work with the four energy centers that is in regards to the four elements. It's like, and together they make this whole powerful structure, but you need all four to be whole and complete on their own. And, same with like a union, it's not like a 50-50 relationship. It's like, no, for that creation to really happen, it has to be one partner is bringing 100% and another one is bringing 100%. And then they can create this third entity, new creation, new life. And so asking guidance from one of these elements, it's like, support me in my wholeness, support me in seeing fully, connecting fully. Which part of me has been let go of, or which part of me has been forgotten, and I call it back to me. And what does that look like? And you're welcome to write that down. Which part of you feels like it's been kind of banished? And what are you welcoming in right now? Because you're going to need these parts. You're going to need these parts for the energy shifts that we're about to have in October. And again, tomorrow, such a powerful day. Wholeness, completion. Also, if you take away the zero, it's the one. One is the new beginnings. So are you willing to step in to this new you, and what does that look like? Because many of us have this actually going to be a whole other video, but I'm going to briefly mention it here. We have this idea, when someone says in their 40s or 50s, like, oh, I want to rediscover myself. It's like, shouldn't you have figured out life by now? Shouldn't you have discovered yourself, in your teenage years or in your 20s? And it's like, no, no, because it's an ever going thing until you die. It's like you're discovering yourself. What is this energy that is looking to come through me? And we look at that like, oh, they've got it figured out. It's like we look at that as success. It's not, it's actually a major failure. When you come into this is who I am. This is what I like. And this is just the person that I am. And we go into like, ooh, they've got it. They ain't got nothing. Okay. It's about, can you be open to that energy that keeps flowing through? Can you keep open? And there's absolutely the shadow aspect of this of like, I don't know who I am. I'm always kind of like just too flowy in the sense that there is no structure. There's a combination of the masculine and the feminine. So have that purpose, have that direction. I know what I stand for. However, I am so open to the things that will guide me to that. And we have that it's like, well, new beginning. I was like, I don't need a new beginning. I know who I am now. Or maybe I'm ready to let go of some things, but not even necessarily getting curious as to what wants to be created through me. So with age, what happens a lot of the times is we stop being receptive to life. We go into this mind's trap of, oh, I know. I know it, so I don't need to experience it. I know me, I don't need to experience me. I know this person, so I don't need to experience them. I know this place, I've been there so many times, so there's nothing new there for me. Everything is new. Nothing in life is stagnant. A piece of stone seems solid, but it isn't. So are you moving with life? And this is the beauty of it. We keep expanding. Everything in the world keeps expanding. So it's ridiculous because when we close down to this is who I am, this is what this moment is, this is what the situation is, this is what this city is, there's no expansion here. Are you one with life? Are you moving as the energy moves, as the life expands? And so we come into wholeness over and over and over again. And believe me, I know how ooh, hard it is when you've done so much shadow work. You've done so much of this just going. I mean, it's not, it may not feel good, especially at the beginning when you don't learn to work through. It's like, oh my God, another dark night of the soul. Like, I don't want to go through this. And there's this growth from there's so many parts of us have to die, so many old belief systems, so many things that haven't served. And then we got to this like, oh my God, I'm good and I love life and things are good and I'm manifesting that which I want and I know what I want. And then even from that stage, at some point, that part also has to die because something new, it's again expansion, everlasting expansion. Something new is coming from this part. And so this part also has to die. And but go into again like, oh, I don't know what I want anymore. And wait, I had this certainty and now I don't know. I had this connection to source and now it feels like I'm being called to something greater. And this isn't enough. But what happened? This was enough when I was down there. So how is this not enough now? Because we're drawn to more expansion. We're drawn to more growth. And so are you opening to that? Are you allowing to that? So these portals, for example, again, tomorrow, sit with this. Where are you not allowing your wholeness? What does wholeness, ooh, this is a good one. What does this level of wholeness at this point in time look like for you? And I what I'm really feeling is a lot of you are gonna go, but there's no time and space. It's like, right, but like in speaking in linear terms, there is, right? The you that you are now, if we're thinking in just linear time. What does this level of at this point in time and space wholeness mean to you? What does this mean for the persona that you are? Again, multidimensional beings, right? There's a part of you that's like, but there is no, persona. There's no time and space. Yes, absolutely. But we want to, like, that's the fun of it. You came from that, but you came here to experience the fun of time. You came here to play with the denser energies with, oh, I gotta wait for things like, I just don't go like, I want a tiger right now, and there's no tiger here. So we have time, we have uh limitations that, but like in the good sense of the word, we get to play with these energies, we get to play with these tools. So for those of you who, when I said that hurts like, but wait a second, but like, in the bigger picture, we're all perfect and divine. Absolutely. And in another picture, you're not. And um, playing with that again, wholeness, like this 1010 portals coming into, can you love all the dimensions of you? Can you accept all of them? And you will need that acceptance to move through the rest of the month more smoothly. I believe this is the longest manifestation Monday. Motivation Mondays in the Powerful Self membership. By the way, the link's going to be below. Check it out if you want to go deeper with this, if you want to be consistent with your practice, you want that accountability, and also like hours of content in the content library. Check out the link's going to be below. So 20 minutes, we're 20 minutes. One last thing that I want to bring in here is that today we are starting 3 Secrets to Everlasting Peace, which is a free 3-day challenge. Tuning into that centeredness. I'm sharing 2 like very practical tools, and then third day we're going a little bit deeper. But just how do we come to the center? How do we embody this? And it's a muscle that needs to be trained, and this is why I made it a challenge so that You get, the tools, we get practical. I explain it, you tune into it. We begin by presence practice every single time. And then you get a challenge. So 24 hours to implement this into your life so it's tangible, so it's practical. Every day you receive an email in your inbox. It's short, it's less than 30 minutes from what I remember. Make the most of it. Peace, centeredness is a choice. So are you making that choice for yourself, for your loved ones, for all of us, for the earth? So I thank you so much for being here. Please make the most of tomorrow. Such good energies. And I will see you next time.